As wild and fun that our community can get, there's something we all know that we can't deny, and that's alcohol and substance abuse within the queer community. In this episode, we dive in and discuss all the drugs, all the substances from alcohol to poppers to meth. Wait until you hear what made us say this.
Your dicks are smacking each other like.
So we're calling them pissers.
Yeah, you're
So
smacking.
the next time you get fucked, I want you to be like, put that pisser in me.
Yeah, put that pisser inside me, daddy. Yeah.
I love that pisser.
Going full circle.
Oh, what a big pisser.
Put that pisser in my mouth.
Hey, all you cum guzzling gutter sluts. It's J-Ho.
Cum guzzling gutter sluts.
Yeah.
I love that.
Just a callback to it. I was called back in high school. JK.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time you're listening to this. This is Jay Northcott, also known as Nervous Shipwreck.
I'm Alexander Jamal, and this week we're going to be talking about substance abuse. Yeah, substance, drugs, alcohol, you name it.
Poppers, pills, prescriptions, liquids.
Potion.
Oh my god, you know what just made me remember something? Sorry, this is so off topic, but you remember the only sockwood that you eat with a spoon? It was like a Wendy's thing for like Wendy's Frosties, and it's a sockwood because it's like a solid liquid.
Oh, yeah.
And then you eat it with a spoon because it's a frosted spoon.
No.
Okay, never mind. Speaking about frosted things, let's do our icebreaker.
Yes.
Do you have some questions for us?
Yeah.
Let's
obviously.
do it.
Okay, guys. I want to talk about, on a scale of 1 to 10, how approachable do you think you are at a bar?
Oh.
I'll go first because I'm asking the question. And I am not approachable at all. So
Why?
I don't know. I think when I'm out, like people always get like the wrong impression of me. And I think it's because I have permanent bitch face all the time. Or as you know, like I'm just constantly annoyed. And it shows. So I don't know. I want to say a 4.
Okay.
I think I would say like probably around, it depends on how drunk I am. If I'm not drunk at all, probably like a 2 or a 3.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm like just not, I don't want to talk to you. Like I don't want to meet new people when I'm sober. I'm like okay with just my friends. So, like if you try to come up to me, one, I'm either extremely awkward or I don't give a fuck. But when you get like 3 to 4 to 8 drinks in me, all of a sudden I want to be everybody's best friend. I'm a smiley little bitch, and I'm pretty approachable. I think I'm like a 7 or 8.
Because from what I know about you, like I would say that you would be like that even without alcohol.
Like I think at a bar I'm very different than at like
IRL.
an event. Yeah, or IRL. Like, you know, like at a bar, I like very much like I get also quite nervous that people are gonna come up and talk to me all the time. And then I hate small talk so much that I try not to let that happen. But then when I'm drunk, I'm like, what happened to your parents? Like, are they still together? Like, what was the biggest traumatic thing that's ever happened to you as a child? Tell me everything.
Oh my God.
I'm the same way. I think definitely if I don't have drinks in me, I'm just like off in a corner somewhere, probably just talking to my friends. If I don't have contacts in, or if I'm not wearing my glasses, it's 10 times worse. I'm 100% a 0 because I just look mad because I'm squinting at everything. And everyone's just like, why are you so angry? I'm like, I'm not. I just can't see, right? If I'm drunk, then it's a different story. Like 9 times out of 10, I'll be talking to everybody and it's going to make you feel like I'm approachable. But the moment you talk to me, then you're going to be like, this motherfucker is not approachable because the first thing I'm going to say is, do I know you?
So aggressive.
Yeah.
Hi, sorry, do I know you?
That's me.
Okay, one more question. Let's talk about dirty talk. Have you guys mastered the art of dirty talk? And what do you think about it?
No.
I think I'm the worst at like dirty talk, especially like I see people do it in porn, and like I've had like sex with boys that like to talk during sex, and to me it's just like, no, like why are we having a conversation? Like,
see, I really enjoy it, but I'm just not really good at it. And then all of a sudden something comes out of my mouth like, yeah, fuck my boy slut. And I'm like, oh no.
Your boy slut?
Oh no, I ruined everything. Oh no. I just am always constantly nervous that I'm going to be like, yeah, fucking give me that man milk or something. And then they're just going to be like, why are you
random?
Why are you like this?
Oh my God.
And then they just leave me hard and sad, you know?
See, for me, like, I think I can't keep it together and keep a straight face when I know that somebody is quoting lines that they've heard from porn. And I'm just like, I can't. And like the one thing that really like, it just irks me so much. And I think it's like a go-to when people are like, yeah, you like that. And I'm like, obviously I fucking like that. Like, or else I wouldn't be here. Like, what have you like?
Hey.
Are you expecting me to say no?
You hate this?
Like-
It's like so self-deprecating. They're like, yeah, you think I'm just the worst at fucking you? You like that? I'm just a dirty, like lonely, homeless person. Yeah.
Wait, so now, but on the flip side, are you good at dirty talk?
Yeah.
No, I'm actually so quiet. Like, I'm not like that. Okay, not like
It's like
that.
ASMR, like
I would.
sex noises.
I absolutely would.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm not like I'm not very vocal. Like I don't say words.
Yeah.
Obviously, like I'll moan here and there
Yeah.
when it's appropriate.
Right.
But again, too much moaning's like, okay, bitch. Like really?
Yeah,
Like, it's-
also weird.
Yeah.
Also, like, have you ever got nervous? Like, I've watched porn before. There's like that small, tiny little twink that's like,
Oh my God, the most
And you're like,
annoying thing.
What are you doing? Stop yelling!
And like the
Stop.
guy's not even like in him yet.
He's like, he's not even being touched, and he's like, oh, yeah.
Have you guys ever seen Armando Rizzo?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does
We're
that shit.
related.
Yeah, you guys,
Really?
you're twin. Yeah, he does that shit.
So let's start talking about a little bit about drugs. I think
Drugs.
I just came here for the drugs. There is this one fact that we found that I thought was really interesting to talk about, like kind of the queer community, that 20 to 30% of queer people are drug users, and in the regular scope of the world, it's only 9% of people. So I was very interested to be like, why is drug use so big in our community, and why do we like to get fucked up so much?
Well, I mean, because it's fun.
It is.
Like,
It
long
is.
story short.
And I'm not afraid to be on this podcast and say that I am for sure a drug user.
Well, wait. So then let's go back to like the first time you did drugs.
Yeah.
What made you open to the idea of taking drugs?
You mean like drinking or like actually doing drugs?
Fuck drinking. Drinking,
Okay.
it's like I feel like I was drinking from like 12.
Yeah. So my best friend when I was like 13 had an older sister, and she had cocaine. And that was the very first time I think I did cocaine before I smoked weed.
Were you scared?
Yeah, absolutely. And like, because you don't really know what it is or like what it's
Right.
going to do. And also when you're 13, your body's like, meh, meh, meh. And so then I never did it again for a really long time, like until I was like an adult. But like, I think that like smoking weed was always like my thing in high school. Like I smoked so much freaking weed. And then I think sometimes those things lead to like drinking and stuff. And I watched a lot of my friends too. I don't know if you guys experienced this, but like ecstasy was a huge thing when I was growing up. And like people that like wanted more than, like, it was all of a sudden like ecstasy was fun, but then it was like, what is more fun? And then it just became like more fun,
More ecstasy.
more ecstasy. And then all of a sudden it was like more of something else and blah, 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 blah. And I was like fine with being like 16 and doing one pill of ecstasy and being like, I'm good. Like that's all I need. But it was interesting to see like how like that need, that craving kind of started developing in people.
See,
What
yeah.
about you? When was the first time you did the druggitos?
Well, I think the first time I did like a hardcore drug was probably in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Not including weed. I remember the first time I did coke, and it was basically just offered to me in a bathroom stall. And I was like, sure, why not?
I mean, if Coke is not offered to you in a bathroom stall, you're in the wrong place. Sorry.
100%, right? On a key.
Yeah.
So
As long as they don't do it on the back of the toilet, because those people are fucking disgusting.
No, on a key always, or
Always
like
on
a
a key.
fucking a pen cap.
And I know keys are dirty too, but like toilets.
No
are
one's
gross.
thinking about hygiene.
I know.
Just put it in your nose and sniff it.
Yeah.
But before that, so now the only thing that made me scared in that moment was I used to date this boy back in the day. I was probably like 16, and when I had moved away for school, and I got during one of the breaks, I had come back, and I remember walking down the street with my then boyfriend and seeing this guy, and he was just like a complete crackhead, right? And I remember a time when he brought me to this hotel party, and him and all his friends were just doing lines upon lines upon lines. And because I seen how much he deteriorated, I kind of just associated the two. That's the only thing that kind of scared me, but there was no reason behind why I did it. It was more so just like, okay, well, everyone's doing it. Everyone seems fine. Like,
Right.
okay, cool, let's go. Right. And yeah, that was the first time I did it.
What about you?
For me, so I think the first drug that I did was probably like smoked weed, but like with me, weed is not really a drug, and to me, it doesn't really do much.
Right.
So that's not my favorite. But I think the first time that I actually enjoyed a drug that I took was probably like ecstasy or MDMA, and it was like, you know, when you're young and you see like in movies or TV shows or whatever, like the club scene where like everything is just crazy. The lights are going and you know that they're having an amazing time.
Yeah.
Now, let's go to a club in real life and it's not like that.
Right.
Right. It's just
not
pretty standard. You go to a club, you
pretty
go to the
dirty.
bar, you get a drink,
Yeah.
you walk a lap, you maybe make eye contact with somebody, and then you maybe go home.
Yeah.
Now, take some ecstasy and it's literally like what is in like a scene of a movie. Like
Right.
shit's going fast, like shit's going crazy.
And you're the main character of the story too. Yeah.
You are the protagonist, bitch. Like
Yeah.
you are the one.
Yeah.
The story revolves around you. Like I just remember just like no shit's given. Like just having the best time of my life. Like dancing until I couldn't anymore.
Right.
And nothing mattered. Like nobody. And I think that was the best time of my life.
I love it. I do want to preface on this is that we are not condoning using drugs, but we are
don't do drugs.
but we are destigmatizing the fact of like that talking about drugs and talking about drug use actually is proven to make it less stigmatized, and by making it normalized. And then people, the thing that causes addiction a lot of the time, and what I've seen in my family and in my friends, is the hiding of it. The second you have to hide your drug use is the second you probably have a problem because you're afraid to talk about it. And I am I'm very drug positive of the fact that I think that what would cause me to have a drug problem or drug addiction is if I started having to hide the fact that I use drugs, or that I'm hiding the fact that I'm drinking, or hiding the fact that I'm smoking cigarettes. Like that's when I think that that's when I think it becomes a problem. So I think it's very important for us to continue to have conversations about the drug use that we do, or the systems that have been part of our drug use, so that we are normalizing the facts that this is stuff that we do, and these are things that are going to come into your life, and these are choices that you're going to be making. Yeah. Does that sound Gucci?
100%. Yeah. See, the thing is, for me, I find that drug use and substance abuse becomes a problem when it's a necessity.
Right.
So let me ask you guys now, fast forward to the present day. If you were to go to a club, do you need to drink, or do you need to do some kind of drug?
Right. I would say before COVID, yes. I was very into the party scene. I love going out, and I am a 0 to 100 person, and I am either sober as a gopher, or I am drunk as a skunk. Like I am fucked. Like I don't really. I wish that I knew. Like you talk to my therapist about this all the time. It's like I don't really know how to say no, which is not problematic, but like I'm now really hyper focusing on is like, why do I say yes? Because I think it's very important to be like, why are you saying yes to this? And then what are you giving up, or what are you gaining from this experience? Because FOMO is fucking real in queer culture. Like fear of missing out for me. I don't know if you guys feel this, but like I constantly have a feeling of like, if I didn't, especially when I was at the club, like if I didn't do the drug, or if I decided to go home, I would like miss out on one of the best nights. Like somebody would text me the next night and be like, I can't believe you left. It was the best night ever. And I'm like, fuck, I've been out every other night and I fucking missed the best night ever.
Yeah.
Oh my God. FOMO for me is not a thing. So to answer your question, even pre, post COVID, whatever, like, so drugs for me, even though drugs in the past, like when I was 18, 19, a blast in a glass.
Yeah.
Now, no, like catch me if I am going out, I will have 1 or 2 drinks and I am gone before y'all even realize it, because the bitch is tired and I need to go home and sleep.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I am so like, I'm like not the life of the party anymore. Like a bitch is old.
When do you think that, like, when was that choice for you that you decided that you didn't need to be the life of the party anymore?
I think it was probably like when I would turn 25, I want to say, only because I had partied so much and like I'd done it.
Right.
And I was like, I don't really like doing this. Like,
Right.
I don't like being here. Like, I don't like waking up with a hangover. I don't like seeing the same people. I don't like doing the same thing. I don't like
Right.
hearing the same songs. Like, I was just like, what?
Right.
So I don't know. For me, like, did I grow out of it? Did I just do too much of it all at once? So maybe like I just got it out of my system. I don't know. What about you?
What was the question?
Do you like, so you asked the question, you said if like, do you need drugs in order to
see? That's where I'm conflicted, because I can full-heartedly admit that not drugs. If I'm going to a club, yes, I need to drink.
Right.
And I need to pre-drink. And it's mainly because I'm extremely antisocial. So
I hear you.
yeah. So it's just like the idea to me of going out and having to mingle and having to like be around all these people is not exciting and it's not fun. So the only way I can open my mind up to the idea is have some drinks, right? So for me, that's why it's a necessity, but drugs hasn't gotten that hold of me yet.
Right. And I always had an issue with, like, especially when I was younger, with cocaine, being like, when I drank, I would get really drunk, and then the only thing that would sober me up is doing a bunch of cocaine, and then the only thing that would make me not jittery was so I could talk to people was drinking more, and then the only way I could continue to talk to people without slurring my words was doing cocaine, and then I was too high to talk to people, so then I would drink, and it was like this cycle of the entire night of like just doing, like, going to the bathroom, doing three key bumps, going back upstairs, drinking more, coming, and like it was. And at the club, one, it becomes very expensive. Everybody that's listening to this podcast, make sure you watch your wallet when you can go out and drink and do drugs, because all of a sudden you're spending like $500 a night to $600 a night,
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
it's unreal, and you don't even get a good meal out of it.
no.
No nice steak, no juicy steak,
Hopefully at least a double fucking shot cocktail.
or at least double penetrated. Jesus, like, but you don't even get any of that usually because nobody can get hard on cocaine.
It means you're at the wrong party.
Oh my God.
I like, and that's another thing is, like, at the end of the night, you're like, oh yeah, like we can do, now that we're all high and drunk, we can have sex, but then nobody's dick works.
I never understood that, how
So you're just
people
like,
can like fuck drunk and high. For me, no. Like once like the alcohol and the drugs start to kick in, sex is nowhere in my mind. Like I can't even comprehend the idea of having sex. Right. So like I always thought I was weird for that.
Also, trying to bottom after doing a bunch of cocaine is
the
very
perfect time.
after doing a bunch of cocaine.
Why? What did it do?
Absolutely not. Like even like MDMA. Like after you do, like every time I do MDMA, I don't know, maybe this is just me, but every time I do MDMA or cocaine, like I always have to poop.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's just you.
I
That's
don't agree.
never
I bet somebody please comment on our podcast or on Instagram and tell us that they feel like they have to poop after doing cocaine or MDMA.
I think I'm the same way. Yeah. I think every time I've done I've had to take a shit.
Like you have to poop during, like right before the peak. You have to poop.
No, there is no pooping.
What?
I can tell you exactly what it is, because if I'm not mistaken, is an upper, and it's sending your metabolism through the roof. So what happens now is your body is hyper digesting everything that's in there. So it can even just be a slice of bread. You're going to shit it out.
Okay, science, Mr. Science Jamal. I don't know. Yeah, I think you're probably right.
I was a doctor just yesterday.
Oh my God.
Really, drugs never make you have to poop.
Well, okay. So first of all, I never use the bathroom in a club. I just
no one said in the club.
No.
Or
who's
like
shitting in the club?
But okay,
but have you ever shit at, like, everybody's had to shit at the club at least?
I've never shit in the club.
No.
Ever?
You've
never had to, like, you were like, it's either this or the floor?
I've shit in a house party, but never in a club.
Oh my God, no. Well, okay. First of all, I never shit. So.
Right. I forgot about that about you. Yeah.
No, but at a club, definitely not. Like no, the only thing I will do is pee, vomit, and maybe do the occasional drug in the bathroom.
Or a blowy, yeah.
No.
You've never had sex in a public washroom?
I won't even get fucked in a bathroom.
Seriously?
It's like dirty.
I've had sex in like the train station, everything.
How?
Just fucking close the door and go fuck.
I've blown somebody at the airport before my flight in a bathroom.
So have
I mean,
I,
okay, so
actually.
at the airport, that's different. You know, it's clean-ish. They're cleaning
What?
that shit all
Right.
the time. Yeah, they're cleaning it all the time. They're actually pretty cute, like bathrooms.
Yeah, you're right. The ones at like the Toronto airport at Pearson are kind of cute.
Yeah.
See, I sucked this man's dick in Mexico in the airport. In the airport, and he was so gorgeous. Anyway, this is off topic, but
Okay, drugs. Let's talk about types of drugs.
Okay.
So, do we want to play a never have I ever done this drug or done it? Does that
Okay.
sound like a fun thing to do?
Yeah.
okay, yeah,
Okay, let's start easy. Alcohol.
of course,
Yes.
Always.
Marijuana.
yes,
Yes.
Cocaine.
yes,
Yes.
Yes.
MDMA.
yes.
Yes.
Oh, I'm still confused on the difference between MDMA and E.
E is the less pure, and MDMA is the actual. Is it?
I don't know.
Okay.
You probably have.
You probably have.
Probably
Speed.
no.
Mm-mm.
Yes. GHB.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I had a set.
I've done GHB for sure. Have you heard of 2CB?
No, is that GHB's brother?
What the fuck
It's
is
like
that?
it's like kind of like if you do acid and MDMA at the same time.
Oh,
It's kind of awful, but also amazing. So yes, I've done that. Mushrooms.
no.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
One of my favorite times was on mushrooms, but like it wasn't in a club setting. I was like out at like my friend's cottage or whatever.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Oh my God, I had like an outer body
Oh my
experience.
god,
I
mushrooms
like
are great.
I felt the lake and I wasn't even near the lake. Like it was great.
See that shit to me is scary.
Did you say no?
Yeah, no.
You've never
Oh,
done
no,
mushrooms?
it's so good.
Just like even just hearing that,
Yeah.
never.
No,
Oh my
but
God.
like it was scary at first because like you don't know what your body's doing. But
Yeah.
like if you're with like a good group of people and like you're safe, you're not like gonna
Yeah.
you know die. Like you're good.
But I've heard with mushrooms, it all depends on like your subconscious. So like
Mm.
what that would say is that your subconscious is happy, it's healthy, right?
Right.
But like in the
Back
event that
then.
Oh.
in the event that you're in a dark place,
But
it's going to be the complete opposite reaction.
yeah, you can have a really bad trip.
Yeah.
Oh, and Jamal, you have so much inside of you.
So
that you're
much.
So afraid.
You have so many
Probably just
demons.
jump
You're
off a building.
You're so
Oh
afraid of
my
the demons
God.
inside.
No.
Acid.
No.
No.
Yes. Have you done?
Tina, what about Tina?
Yeah, Tina.
No.
Not on purpose. I don't think. I don't think I've ever purposely done meth.
No.
Heroin?
No.
No.
No, it scares me. See, I remember there was. So I'm gonna bring in Oprah because our special guest Oprah is here today. You get it? No. So Oprah, I remember. I think I was 13 or 14. I was sitting in my living room, and we used to always. My mom is. We had a dining table, but we never ate at it. We always had like those foldable tables that we put in front of the couches, and we ate on the couch watching TV.
Oh my
'Cause we were
God,
that-
that's so white trash.
So right, white trash, and like such my life. And I remember we would always sit, and Oprah was like my second mom because she always was eating dinner with us. And I remember this episode that she's talking to the guy that wrote the book Million Little Pieces. It was like about this guy's heroin addiction or meth addiction or something. And she was talking to him, and then she showed a brain, and then she showed a brain on meth, and she was like, "Look at the brain on meth. Look at all the holes." And it was like looked like an anthill. And I just remember that moment being like, I can never do meth, even though I think like you hear people in the gay community talk about meth.
Yeah,
It-
like it's
it sounds
so
awesome.
it does,
Right?
and they're like it's more prevalent than you think it is. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy because so I used to work with this one guy, and like this is many years ago, and I thought he was like super hot. Whatever, we like made out, and then like we all went out to the club, and then like after we made out, like I didn't know too much about him, and he seemed very like proper, whatever, and then. Like I think the day after we like were texting, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, like I'm pretty big into like doing meth," and I was like, "What?" Like gasp, like
What?
escándalo,
Yeah.
like what? That just shocks me because it's like there's so many people in the gay community that just do it that just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also meth is something that for like the first year that you do it, if you're doing it occasionally, meth doesn't give you super big hangovers at the beginning of doing it. It doesn't really affect a lot of things right at the beginning, except it just makes like your weird sex awesome. But then also I've had sex with somebody that's on meth, and I did not partake in the meth. And it was like having sex with like a weird floppy sack of potatoes. Like it was just like a man that like lost all, maybe he was just bad at pumping. Like maybe he just didn't have any rhythm to start with, but it was like, you could see he was having the greatest time of his life. And I
But
was
you
just like,
weren't.
okay, girl, like,
See, I've always
Can
been
you
told
finish?
that meth is like meth is that drug where the moment you do it once, that's it. You're fucked, right?
Yeah.
And I've like, actually, funny enough, just yesterday I was at work, and I was like interacting with the inmates.
Yeah.
And this one guy's there, like giving me like this head bob. And I'm like, I don't fucking know you. Like, why are you saying hello to me? Right. And then I took a second look and I was like, holy fuck, I know you. Right. And then it was so bad to the point where his information card that holds like all his information, like his name, his charges, all that shit, it said special needs on there, which typically is what we use to classify like a mentally ill person.
Right.
It said he was special needs. And when I knew him, he was perfectly fine.
Right.
But now he is like completely off the rocker. Like I'm surprised he even knew who I was. And it's because of meth.
Yeah, absolutely. And even like friends of mine that are like, that were meth addicts or like are still, I guess, meth addicts, still drug addicts, but are recovering drug addicts from meth. It's like to watch somebody like I have like tics. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed, but like I fidget a lot and I have like rapid movement in my body. But like people with ADHD and these kind of things that like are always like constantly moving stuff around and throwing things, and and like, but people that have like done meth for a really long time, after their ability to just like not even be able to sit still. After like being off the drug for like 6-8 months, it's like it still affects you after that. And I just couldn't imagine ever. I think there's a point for me that I know I'm not a drug addict for the fact that I never will. If I have a huge obligation, I will make sure that I'm not doing drugs the night before to make sure I can be there and present for the huge obligation. And also I will always make sure I have enough money to pay rent and have other things. Like I'm hopefully never worried about money. And like living where I live, like Dundas and Jarvis, like you just see like night walkers, just like people that are just like, they look like zombies and like people doing drugs all the time. And it's like at one point or another, they decided that they were going to stop paying rent to get their fix. And that's like the second line. It's like that's like the last line of being like, that's it, you know?
I think like once doing a drug becomes like a thing that you like a necessity that you need in order to function just in your day-to-day life, that's when things can become quite scary.
Where do you guys think that line is? Like let's not say like the drug, like the streetwalkers of homeless, like people that are like for sure drug addicts, but where, especially in the queer community, where is that line? Do we think that it might look like it's become a problem?
See, I think that's rough. But I think back to what I said before is whenever it's a necessity for anything, it's a problem. And I will even go as far as saying like poppers. If you need poppers to have sex, there's a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I used poppers last night when I was having sex. Great time. But I don't use poppers every time I have sex. Also, for our listeners, I had sex with somebody who was on our show, and I'm very proud of myself for finally doing it.
Oh my God.
If you want to know who it is, subscribe to our OnlyFans.
Our OnlyFans.
Just could you imagine if we had like an OnlyFans where we just all put our stuff on there, us just doing poppers and.
Could you? Yeah, I could imagine. It would probably make a lot of money.
That could be so cute. We wouldn't even have to be naked. We could take our shirts off and just do poppers and then laugh. And would you guys watch that?
I wouldn't.
I think I might watch that.
I think there is a demographic out
there. There's a demographic that would do anything. Like a demographic would buy your fucking underwear and sniff it.
Yeah.
Like there's someone.
If you are gonna sell your underwear, make sure to get a PO box because if you have to send your underwear somewhere, then they know where you live.
True.
Tis true.
So if you want to start selling your underwear, people, remember to get a PO box before you start doing it.
And if you want me to sell my underwear, just let me know.
You can subscribe to our OnlyFans.
Oh my God. Okay. But I think that when substance, like if you need a substance or like, let's say if you wake up in the morning and to do like your first hit of whatever it is, whether that be anything like alcohol, like smoking, and it could be drugs, it could be poppers, it could be literally anything.
Yeah.
If that is the first thing that you think of when you wake up that you need to get your day started, that's shitty.
Are you guys heavy weed smokers? Do either of you smoke a lot of weed?
I do. I smoke weed every day. where are we going with that?
Sorry, the reason I'm asking this is because I find it really. I have a couple of friends that are very much like, they say, like, they've told me before that they think that I have a slight drinking problem. Not
Okay.
problem, but they're like, you like to casually drink a fair bit, and I'm like, yeah, but you wake up and smoke weed and then work.
Yeah.
You know, and like, I'm not saying that people like smoke weed every day, do whatever you want, fucking wake up, wake and bake, do whatever you, I sound like a grandma. I'm like, wake and bake, do whatever you want to do. But I also think that sometimes we need to look at like that as people that have an addiction, maybe not addiction, but an affliction to smoking weed.
100%. It definitely still goes hand in hand. Like, for me, I will never smoke weed if I have something to do.
Right.
But that's mainly because I know that the moment I smoke weed, I'm now a zombie. So I don't smoke. So like, if I have to go to work, I'm not smoking. If I have to fucking go to an interview, I'm not, anything. If I have to go to the mall.
Can you smoke weed and work out?
No, literally, if I have to even just go to the grocery store, I'm not smoking.
Right.
The only time I ever smoke on a daily basis is like before bed. So like when I'm winding down. But I know people that, like, just like you said, wake and bake, or they smoke on their lunch breaks, stuff like that. And they need weed to function. That's also an addiction. Yeah.
True.
And we always pretend that weed is like just like this little like Mary Jane's just my best friend. Like, we don't, like, she's not weird.
But
she's
it's
not
altering it still alters your state.
Absolutely. You're still not allowed to fucking drive when you're high.
But see, it's not, some drugs are naturally addictive. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Weed is not addictive. Where weed becomes addictive is your mental state, right? Because now your mental state now takes it to the addiction part, right? So it's not that the weed is making you addicted. It's the fact that you think that in order to function, you need this stuff. And it becomes a habit, and now it's an addiction. So it's not that the weed was addictive. It's that your mind forced you to think that in order to still function, you needed this, and that the habit of smoking every day forced you to an addiction. Right. If that makes sense. Right. Yeah. It's almost like imagine like you get into the habit of waking up every day, and it's like the first thing you need to do is drink some water. Right. Right. And you can't function until you drink that water. That's still an addiction. You can be addicted to anything in life. Right.
But a very healthy addiction. Good work, whoever has that addiction.
Hydration is
just
key.
Don't drink that water in Mexico.
Right. And I think that's where my brain always goes, is like, I talk to my ex a fair bit, and he is becoming a doctor, and he's working in the psychiatry ward right now. And he's like, the amount of sorry, that took way too much effort to get out. The amount of people that have weed induced psychosis is like pretty large. Like, marijuana can really fuck with your head. And maybe it's because whenever I smoke weed, I just get anxious and sad and like think everybody in the room hates me. It's like, I can't smoke weed. Like, I really wish I could. But there was like a moment when I was like 19, I like was doing a bong rip in my room while doing math. And I was like, did that sound pretty much like a bong?
Oh my God, it did.
I nailed it. And all of a sudden it was like there was like this voice in my head being like, you suck at math. You're a failure. Nobody likes you. You can't even leave your room now, because if you leave your room, they're all going to think you're a fucking loser. And I was like, what?
You're right.
I was like, you're right. I am a fucking loser. And then I kept trying to smoke weed for like a week and like changed weed strains and blah, 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 blah. And then like, for some reason now weed just makes me anxious. I think it's because I started smoking weed when I was like 14.
Probably.
Fucked my brain.
Oh my God. Okay. But then this leads us to a good topic of like, okay, so then what about people that need drugs to cope with life, with stress, traumas, what have you? Like, what do we think about that?
Well, I think, first of all, I think that's very predominant within the queer community. One, because just of what we've all went through, just having to hide throughout your younger years, stuff like that. So I feel like we're definitely more susceptible to needing drugs and alcohol to cope with life, or even just to numb us. But in terms of what I think about that, it's unfortunate, it's sad, and that hopefully these people can find help. I don't know.
Can you repeat the question? I forget.
What do you think?
Like, what do we think about people that use drug use as like a coping memechanism? Like, it could be anything like I don't know, like a traumatic experience that they had as a child, and now they just use drugs to kind of like forget about it.
I think there's one of my friends, like, I went to school where there was a huge addictions counseling program, And I found that there was a beautiful thing that like one of my friends was doing her master's in about like using mushrooms and hallucinogenics to understand why people have drug addiction problems. So being like giving people mushrooms to use to like fix their drug addiction. And there's like a lot of studies about how like psychedelics are really good at being able to like for you to be able to go inward and understand why these systems were created and like why you need drugs and blah 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 blah. And I thought that was really awesome. I think that like for me, like I for sure used drinking and drugs to be an escape. Like I had huge I still actually have issues having sex sober. Like I don't really like having sex sober. It's like using drugs to be able to have sex or drinking to have sex is very it's like almost a necessity for me sometimes. It's like I talk to my therapist about it all the time, being like, why do we think this is? Like I don't feel like I got like sexually assaulted as a child. I don't feel like any of that trauma happens. Like what is that insecurity or that feeling of needing the confidence of that drug or that or drinking to be able to like have really fun sex? Like why can't I just have fun sex sober? And don't answer. Don't tell me why. I don't know.
Rhetorical question, y'all.
Rhetorical question. What about you, Jeho? Why do you think there's a?
I don't know. I think the whole like thing that we were talking about, how like drugs obviously alter your state of mind, and I think depending on what's ever happened to you, like it could be anything, like from something really small to something really major, that like that person just needs that drug to like not be in their normal state of mind, so they can just either repress or just not think about or just kind of live in like an alternate reality where like this drug makes them feel good. So like in that sort of sense, like the difference between like a coping drug and like a party drug is definitely like, I think that line that we were talking about, like how many of us can go, you know, to a bar, do a drug and like be totally fine the next day and like not touch drugs for like, you know, whatever. And then how many people use that drug to just like I said, cope with something crazy every single day.
Yeah.
See, I think that's the traditional form of substance abuse in my mind. If you can't function in life for whatever reason without a drug, that's substance abuse.
If you can't function for yourself, how in the hell are you going to function for someone else? Can I get an
amen?
Amen. But back on to sex, because I'm also the same way.
Yeah.
What I've boiled it down to, and there's no fact in this or scientific evidence. I think it's because as men, especially as queer men, we are a lot more sexually liberated and fluid, to the point where oftentimes we're having sex with people that we don't really know that well.
Right.
And what makes us a little bit more comfortable and ease to the situation is some type of substance. Right. Whereas like the traditional person or a straight person or someone that's in a relationship, you know them, you know what I mean? So there's a romantic connection. So you don't need to numb anything. It's almost like it's a different sexual connection. It's love making at that point, whereas like you're just fucking, but you don't know that person you're fucking. So in order for me to just mask the fact that I'm insecure about this, that, and this and that, or not overthink something, let me have a few shots.
Right. And it's also, I think, going on to even like last week's topic of like queer spaces, is that a lot of the places where we meet other gay or queer people is at the bar. So I think that sex sometimes is like inherently related to drinking, for the fact that you go to the bar, not always to hook up, but like you go to the place to hook up, right? And like that, those two things are now synonymous with each other, and that's where that lens of drunk bumping pissers together. God, that was why do I come up with these awful?
Yeah, because I have no idea what you just said. None.
What at all?
Drunk bumping pissers.
Yeah, you're drunk and you're bumping those pissers. Drunk pissers. Yeah, your dicks are smacking each other like.
So we're calling them pissers.
Yeah, you're
so
smacking.
The next time you get fucked, I want you to be like, put that pisser in me.
Yeah, put that pisser inside me, daddy. Yeah,
I love that pisser.
Going full circle.
Oh, what a big pisser!
Put that pisser in my mouth.
This is cringeworthy.
That is so going in the intro, just so you guys know.
Mom,
You will
I
find
hate
out
it
what
here.
made all of us say this.
So let's go to Miss Rona because we have to talk about this dumb bitch because she's part of our fucking lives for
She's still
probably
here.
forever. She's literally, I have tried to tell her to leave so many times and that girl does not take a fucking hint.
Sounds like Donald Trump.
Yeah, she is the Donald Trump of
Viruses.
And so Miss Rona's here in her fucking sash being like, hey girl, I'm here.
Miss Congeniality.
And during COVID, I have had a substantial amount of more drinking and more drug use. And at first it was cute. It was like me and my roommates were like doing mushrooms together and going for a walk. And then I was like, why am I drinking alone, watching anime and getting wasted at 5 o'clock at night? Like,
because we're
shit
confined
faced.
to our homes and there's nothing to do. So then we're trying to like look for something to like occupy our time.
Yeah.
The amount of drinking that I've done since fucking March is probably like for sure
Yeah.
outweighs all the drinking that I've done like back in my party stage.
It's
And that
true.
was a lot.
Yeah.
Like I drank a lot when I was 18, 19. And since March,
It's
like,
true.
every
Why do you
single
think
day.
that when they shut down cities, liquor stores stayed open?
Yeah, they tried to shut them down, I think, in like Halifax or something like that, and there was like riots in
Yeah,
the street. They were
because
like,
they're-
no.
They're essential,
Yeah.
right? They're essential for people that already have these addictions. They're essential for people that don't have addictions, but they're going to be confined to their homes, so they're going to need something to do, right?
Yeah.
Like it is what it is.
Like LCBO, I think something like that's the liquor stores in Ontario. Their sales went up something like 280% at the beginning of COVID.
It was me.
It was it was just J-Ho. It's unreal, right? Because I think sometimes we say that the line of addiction or those kind of things is like either you have a problem or you don't, or like you're just good at dealing with it. But I think during COVID, especially for me in the queer community, I was like, oh, maybe I do have a little bit of a drinking problem. That it wasn't just like, oh, I'm going out and having a couple of drinks. It's like now that I don't have the excuse of being like going to the club and just drinking a couple of beers, now I'm at home drinking a box of wine, you know? And I've really been questioning it recently. And I think Rona has given us that opportunity to be like, I can't go out to the bars all the time and I can't do that. It's like, why am I continuing to drink? And like also my friends, like the friends that I have, I'm like, there's like 3 or 4 friends that I'm like during COVID that I could still have conversations with because I was so used to just like going out and drinking and partying with them.
Right.
So like all of these friends that I thought were my friends, I was like, oh, I actually just like I just am drunk with you.
Yeah.
And then that's the reason we connect.
They're party bugs.
Yeah.
See, I find that, yeah, actually, yeah. During COVID, I've learned my addiction per se. I've learned that because at one time I did ponder the idea that maybe I have a drinking problem.
Mm-hmm.
And then I learned I don't have a drinking problem. Like I don't need to drink. Where my problem comes in is that I don't know my limits.
Right.
And I'm a binge drinker. So like,
Mm-hmm.
for example, how some people can open up a bag of chips and they can't stop until that chip bag is done.
Right.
For me, it's like the moment I have a drink, I'm now fucking drinking until I'm a fucking slosh. Right. And then that's it. Right. So like, if I start my day and not drink, cool. Right. But now the moment you give me a drink, I'm going to want 7, and that every drink you give me, I'm going to guzzle like it's fucking water.
Right.
So wait, I have a question. So
Yeah.
because you said earlier on the episode that you are either like 0 or 100.
Yeah.
So you can go to a club like completely sober or you need to be like trash.
Yeah.
Now you said that if you have a drink, then you want to drink more. So
Mhm.
it's like when you drink, do you drink to get drunk? Like that's your intent?
I don't necessarily drink. Like I would love to get drunk. Like why the fuck not? Right.
Yeah.
But that's not my goal in mind. So like if you gave me a bottle of water, like you see how you guys are like sipping on that bottle of water,
Right.
It's not even just alcohol. I'm that way with any beverage. Like
Mhm.
that bottle would have been done second gulp, right? Like I have like no mental understanding of slowing down my consumption, if that makes sense. Even
Yeah.
with food, I eat really fast. I drink really fast. Whatever I'm eating or drinking is going so quick. So it's more so the need to have a drink in hand. And
Mhm.
because I'm drinking so fast, it's like I'm going through 25 drinks, not realizing it.
Right.
Bitch, that's expensive.
Yeah.
Especially at a club. Like that just brought me back to like
Yeah.
at a club.
No, I'm
And you look
I'm
at your
that,
wallet
I'm that
after.
black kid that has a bottle in my pants. Yeah.
Good for you. Good for
Well,
you.
that's good. Like a good money saver. But like I'm just thinking like
Money saving tips, right?
back at the club, like obviously you want to have a drink in your hand, right?
Mhm.
And like I remember always getting something that I know would last long because I don't particularly like the taste of alcohol.
Right.
I do like wine here and there with like food, but
Yeah.
like when I'm going out or whatever, I don't really love alcohol. But I
Mm.
just remember beer was always something that like, oh, like it's big, it lasts long. I'm not
Yeah.
just gonna chug it versus like a fucking cocktail that like they give you and it's like it's gone.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. Can I ask you guys a question? Which I will, even if you said no.
No.
So tell me a activity that you can do at home with your friends, especially during this Rona time, that doesn't involve drugs or alcohol.
Jack off.
With each other?
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, but is that more fun when you're all drunk?
No, I can't jack off when I'm drunk.
Really?
I can't like what again, if I'm drunk, there's no sex, any like nothing. No.
Oh,
Okay, so as you asked that,
yeah.
I then thought like, okay, there's not really anything that you can't like. There's like
Right.
you can make crafts or like watch a movie,
Bake a pie together.
but like everything is a little bit more enjoyable. Obviously, if everybody is having a drink,
Yeah.
because I think that just makes everybody more loose, like more social. Like it kind of like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's
I got no. Never mind.
you
I thought I had to answer.
You literally scared the shit out of me. It's like, what happened?
I was gonna say painting, but then that would also be funner with
But
a drink.
it's more fun when you have a
Yeah.
wine in your.
Yeah.
It's like what I'm really trying to figure out is like if we can't leave the house, if like, and maybe this is just put in the mentality of like maybe I should ask the straights because I feel like the straights maybe don't have that big. My bet, but like I was
But the
thinking,
streets drink.
oh, they for sure do. Oh, they are for sure just like they're, and I think sometimes even that statistic I said at the beginning, I think it's that queer people are more affirmed in who they are, that they're not afraid to tell a statistic that they use drugs and drink.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot, like, do you know how many people do secret cocaine?
Oh my god.
Like parents that do secret cocaine.
Yeah.
It is, especially
Not that you're calling it secret cocaine.
they call it like in Calgary. Like I have friends that are parents that are like, don't tell my kids about my secret cocaine. You know, like, and I know, bitch, like I know that all this, like those that oil fucking money rig pig bitch has fucking cocaine in their house somewhere.
Of course. Oh my god, that reminded me. So I have like one of my friend's godmothers, who's
Yeah.
like this very proper, like whatever lady. She never did drugs,
Mhm.
and I remember back then when I used to live in Calgary as well. She asked her to go get her cocaine from her friends. She would obviously buy it,
Yeah.
so she could lose weight, and she did it.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
So secret cocaine is a thing.
secret cocaine. Hey, secret cocaine. That was a good song, right?
No.
Oh.
Wait. So then, random drug of choice.
Oh, a blend. Oh,
A
do you know?
nice blend.
Do you know which one we did miss on my questions of drugs that you've used or not?
Which one?
Ketamine.
Oh, yeah.
Have you done
I've
ketamine?
done
What the
it.
fuck is that?
It's a horse tranquilizer.
Oh fuck no.
Oh, it's great.
It's
Whoa.
cute.
The only thing that sucks sometimes when you go in a K-hole. One time I was at a club and I was sitting on a bench and I just like so me and my friend thought that this vial that we had was cocaine, and then we took it and then we were taking a cab to the next place, and all of a sudden
Okay.
we were like in the cab and we're like, this is not
Oh my god. See.
cocaine. And then we get to the club. I'm like, okay, we can do this. We get in and then we go down into the basement. We're like, we need to do cocaine. Accidentally grab the same vial, do ketamine
You might as well
again.
just go to sleep there.
And then these guys came in the bathroom that we were in and they're like, hey, do you want to try our ketamine? It's better. And I was like, sure. So we're sitting on this bench after doing like 3 giant hits of ketamine. And I look at the wall and I look at the floor and I'm like, which one
Is which?
is the wall and which one's the floor? Like, what surface do I walk on?
Oh my.
See, I'm very skeptical on anything I put in my body that like I don't know the true amount of what it is.
Right.
Right. Like, so like even when I did E for the first time, I was so skeptical because I'm like, I don't know what this pill is. I don't know how this one pill is going to affect me compared to how it affects somebody else.
Right.
Right. Versus if I'm rolling a blunt, I know how much weed I'm putting in that fucking blunt.
Right.
Right. And like, so I'm very iffy on all that kind of stuff. And that's why I haven't done too much like hardcore drugs, because I'm very weary on that kind of shit. Like if I don't know how like one pill or one sip of like
Right.
Tina is going to affect me compared to you. And I'm so afraid that the last way I'm trying to die is like an overdose on anything, unless it's like dick.
Is dick a drug?
It could be. If you're addicted to dick and you can't
I think
function
many
without
people
it,
are addicted
yeah.
to dick nowadays. Like,
Yeah, but I don't know if it's a substance. But I know like
well, the stuff
The
that
stuff
comes
comes
out
out.
of it is a substance.
hi, I'm at Cum Guzzling Anonymous. I think my favorite drug of choice.
CGA.
My favorite drug of choice is probably MDMA. But if and only if I didn't have the fucking 3-day depression after. Like I love MDMA so much.
Did you
But
get the jaw reaction?
I don't, because of how much MDMA I've done in my life, that I know how to control my jaw and don't look like a weird little creepy little gremlin in the corner, which I love. I'm so proud of this. Like I love seeing somebody high on MDMA and their jaw just like.
That's why I hate E because of that. Like I don't. If I'm high on anything, I don't want you to know. If that makes sense. Like I want to be able to hold off a conversation and just assume like, or make you think that I'm like this holy saint, right? So because of that, mine is Coke. For me, if I'm on Coke, if I'm not drunk, even if I am drunk on Coke, I'm now immediately the life of the party, and I can talk, I can do everything I can fly, everything. Coke.
What about you?
God. Okay, for me, if I'm in a party situation or a club scenario, it's E.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah.
You know you're old when you still call it E.
I know.
I'm sorry, girl.
E, ecstasy. But in any other like situation or scenario, it's got to be mushrooms, because I've had like such
So
good trips on mushrooms that aren't like crazy like that. And they're almost like, it's like you said, it's almost like self-reflective. Like for me, it's almost like, I want to say like meditating.
Yeah, and it's actually a lot of people use it for meditating. And also, I watched my roommate have a sexual experience with a pancake. It was just like
What?
like she was holding the pancake, and you could just see in her eyes that it was like a new awareness. Like the feeling of the pancake was almost. She's like, I think I fell in love. She's like, I didn't have an actual orgasm, but I had but close to just by holding this pancake. Like it's such a. I also love. I've never had a moment after doing mushrooms being like, wow, I sure regret that.
Right?
You know? And that's the thing I think I love about it. And it's actually, I think, the only drug that I will do without drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Every other drug, and this is what I do want to preface too, is that I think the worst culprit in gay culture that's really, that it gives us these like substance abuse problems and these kind of things, is a lot of our community based, everything that we do is based in drinking.
Mm-hmm.
And like for me, if I'm drinking, as I said at the beginning, I'm a 0 to 100 person. I'm drinking. That's the only thing that would cause me to do drugs. I never like think of doing MDMA at like 11 o'clock in the afternoon without a glass of rosé in my hand.
Right.
Like I for sure have done MDMA at 11 a.m., but I had a glass of rosé in my hand.
100%. So now, closing off, I want to ask you guys, what advice would you give to someone who is currently struggling with an addiction, or what advice would you give to someone who knows someone who is currently struggling with an addiction? Or again, what advice would you hope someone would have gave to you if you were struggling with an addiction? Answer one of the three, all of the three, two of the three. Surprise me.
Okay. So I would say that.
Wasn't that such a Coke thing to do? Sorry, like we're not doing coke. I just want to let everybody know we're not doing cocaine here. But it was like,
don't lie.
Do this or do this or do this.
This podcast is sponsored by cocaine. No, JK. No. So I think that if somebody is struggling out there, I think one of the hardest things to do is ask for help. So I think if you are struggling with substance abuse, it could be anything. Like if one of your friends or somebody that's in your like friend circle that's close to you that has maybe said something, you don't have to like admit it and outright come out and ask for help, because I know that can be the hardest thing. But like if they're hinting at it, just go to them.
Yeah.
Talk to somebody.
I would tell myself if I was dealing with a drug addiction or like any young person that's listening to this that might feel like they want to experiment with drugs and they're nervous about it or whatever. I would say if you ever feel like you are having a drug problem or a drinking problem, find a person in your life that you can tell them every single time that you do drugs or drink, because that person will be the person that will tell, and make sure it's a person that like loves and respects you and also doesn't have a drug problem. And every time you do drugs, tell that person. And once you start feeling embarrassed or you need to lie to them or any of those kind of things, then it's probably a fucking problem. Make sure that you keep yourself accountable. And if you need to tell somebody every time you do drugs, do it, because that's what's kept me more accountable than anything in my life, is to be able to be like, if I can't tell a person that I love a lot that I'm doing something, all of a sudden it starts becoming self-harm. And that's when it's not self-medicating. It's not that, it's for sure self-harm. It's maybe an addiction if you can't be honest with that person.
Amen. For me, I'm a little bit of an asshole when it comes to that kind of stuff. If someone came to me with an addiction, or if I knew one of my friends had an addiction, I'm not willing to give you any advice. And the reason for that is my dad was a drug addict. And I know full-heartedly that there's no advice you can give a drug addict that they're going to take or going to listen to. So if I was to do anything, it would be an action, and it would either be to put them in my car and bring them to a center, or bring them to my house and lock them in.
Right.
Other than that, I don't believe friends or family can help an addict until they truly want to be helped. So because of that, I wouldn't give any advice. I would force a resolution.
So do you believe that in order to get better in that circumstance, like they need to hit rock bottom in order like for that to
Not
like
necessarily
make them change?
I think that depends on the person. I feel like some people can see themselves deteriorating and can acknowledge the fact that they're deteriorating, and that alone is enough for them to want to change. Whereas some people need to hit rock bottom, right? For some people, hitting rock bottom is still not enough. You know what I mean? So everyone is different. And I think as a loved one, you should be able to tell when that person is ready. And if that person's not ready, then there's really nothing you can do other than force their hand. Right. So like look at Amanda Bynes. Like that bitch, like they tried so often. But look at her, like they tried so many times with Amanda Bynes. Nothing helped. But once she was ready, she did it on her own.
Right.
See what I'm trying to say? It's not up to loved ones. It's only up to the person with the addiction.
Yeah. I agree with that. And I think to close this off, what I want to say is that like we had this conversation today to destigmatize our drug use and destigmatize drug use. So these conversations can continue to happen, because you see in all of these different countries that have destigmatized drug use, there has been positive effects of these things. And maybe this is my freaking leftist communist ass coming out right now, but I think it's very important for us to continue to have these conversations, and for you to have these conversations with your friends about their drug use or your drug use, and that we can't hide these things anymore, because they're especially in queer culture, they're part of a lot of our lives. And I hope that this conversation helped you have those conversations, or helped you think about what your drug use looks like, or what your friend's drug use looks like. We'll put some things in the description of this episode of places and
people, places, things,
people, places, and things that you can get help if you need it, that you can have conversations with people. And if you ever want to chat with us, you can just follow us on our Instagram, and we will chat with you for sure.
For a cost.
For $426.23 an hour.
US dollars.
Oh my God.
Okay, we want to say we love you guys so much, and thank you for listening to another episode of Queer. We have 2 more episodes left of this season.
Possibly 2 or 1.
I think it's going to be 2.
2 it is.
We have 2 more episodes left this season, so stay tuned. We're making it.
The best is yet to come.
So tacky.
Toodles.
Bye.
Super real untruths about the queer culture and its many problems. Did you know that 70% of Black gay men are actually women? Just white women.
Nope.
With big dicks.
Yeah. Did you know the term Karen actually was coined from the 1982 riots? Stonewall riots.
Oh my God.
When Karen threw the first stone.
Ew.
Demanding to see the manager.
We all thought it was like a Black trans woman, but it was actually just Karen asking to speak to the manager.
Well, you know what? She did that.
Thank you, Karen, for giving us gay rights.